I weightlifted for 8 to 10 years on and off in intensity, but always the standard 5x5 strength training routine. And from this, I got big muscles. I would say very, very minor ever improvement in performance, and a lot of knee and low back pain. So that was my results with standard weightlifting. And now versus this, I mean, it's the most unique thing I've ever done training wise, that's for sure. I think a lot of people say that. And it's hard to explain the changes that happen in your body over this 12-week period. But for me, I went from not feeling any of the exercises above my calf to feeling it all the way up into my glutes and even a little bit of abs near the end. And that might not mean much if you've never experienced it, but that is actually one of the craziest transformations I've felt in my body physically before. So
Right.
It's hard to overstate that, what it feels like to do the same exercise 3 months later and it feel completely different. So,
Right.
And then besides the change in muscle recruitment, I went from having lots of adhesions, very, very tender areas in my calf and my quads, especially. And by working on those every day and doing the fascia exercises, they've pretty much disappeared completely, which is also unbelievable. Especially the first time I rolled my quads, it was like there were spots of just 10 out of 10 tenderness.
Right.
And it was, I don't want to say unbearable to do the exercises, because I mean, it's definitely doable, but rolling out those spots was intense pain. And now it's gone from that to it just feels like any normal tissue when you rub it. And especially in the calves, those are completely pain-free to roll now, no adhesions. The quads are still being worked on a little bit, but they dropped from like in 10 to 8 out of 10 to around a 2. So
Right.
the results speak for themselves. We had a pretty unique training schedule because of the arm injury I received.
Right.
That
was a torn bicep, right?
Torn bicep, completely
Right.
unrelated to the training. It was a waterboarding incident, but they told me it would be a full year before I had full range mobility, which was just what they had seen in other people with torn biceps.
Right.
And it's been 2.5 months, 3 months since the injury. And I mean, I have completely full range of motion. I did like half a pull-up for the first time yesterday.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And the people at PT, the doctors, they said it'd be around a year just to move, and it would still be extremely weak. And thankfully for your help doing the upper body
Fascia exercise,
the wall bounces especially, I think that was very key in the quick reducing of swelling in my arm. And it's like there's not much you could do to stimulate blood flow or recovery when it's that injured. Like I couldn't move it like more than this when it occurred.
Right.
And being able to do the hand motions and feeling that come all the way up through my arm, the biggest help in healing for sure.
Yeah. And did the PT surprise? Like, did they get surprised? This is like what, only 2 months with them, right? Like.
Yeah. So I went to PT the first time 3 weeks after the injury,
right,
and saw one nurse, and then I didn't see her again for 3 weeks. And when she saw me the second time, she was shocked. I mean, because it's hard to. I mean, my arm was about this big.
Right. It was very bad looking. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a standard tendon tear. It was a muscle belly rupture.
Right.
Which I've done some research on now, and apparently only happens to paratroopers and water skiers. So
yeah,
don't do those two things. You want to avoid ripping your bicep in half. But I tell my friends all the time how amazed I am that I'm at this point already in my healing journey. It's definitely not over, but like I'm gonna make full recovery because of what I know now about what my body requires and how to keep it healthy.
Yeah, the myofibroblasts, if we control it correctly, it will it will speed up the regeneration rate. That's what we have seen. A lot of people they don't heal properly, let's say, right? That's because the fascial matrix is not in the right condition. So that's how people get stuck, like the knee pain, the back pain, lower back pain you had, right? Really, we
Mm-hmm.
have to remodel the fascia, make sure that they're in the right condition. And we also build up more glutes connection.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention the bad knee pain I had for 4 or 5 years, which started as a result, I believe, from heavy squatting, just because, like everybody else, I wanted to be more athletic in high school for football. I wanted to jump higher and dunk. And the information that was given to me, that was available to me, was squat 3 times your body weight, get your hamstring stronger, posterior chain. And that just didn't result in anything except a knee injury, like everybody can relate to the jumper's knee, I believe is what it's called, or
Mm-hmm.
in the patellar tendon, and that just wouldn't go away. And like many other people, I discovered knees over toes guy probably 4 years ago, and obsessively did those exercises for probably 2.5 years on and off. And you know, you would get results from that, but they wouldn't be permanent. And I always felt like if I didn't constantly do these exercises, I would go back to square one super quickly in terms of flexibility and knee strength, whatever you want to call it. And I would still suffer from that patellar tendon pain. But now I haven't felt that since like week 2, week 3, this 12-week program. And
Wow.
I used to experience low back pain squatting, which I'm sure 98% of people can relate to as well. And I always thought, oh, I should need to do back extensions, or I need to stretch more or strengthen those muscles. And no matter what I did, you would still feel back pain when you're starting to squat 2-3 plates. And now, from what I've learned from you in this program, is it didn't matter what the strength of any of those muscles were. What mattered is I couldn't mentally recruit the ones I needed.
Yes.
And that's the major difference between this and other training programs, is the mental aspect, like what you can learn about how the human body is supposed to function naturally, and how we've kind of, the human race has distanced ourselves from that, from interior living and shoes, and just that stuff never gets to develop. But
Yeah.
now that I, through the training, understand the mental aspect, it's a complete game changer.
Great, great. How was your meditation? Let's talk about meditation, because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't get this. Like, what do you still have any random thoughts coming in, or you're able to concentrate now?
Yeah. I mean, it's not perfect. It's gotten so much better throughout the 12 weeks, my ability to focus and maintain the hyperarch mechanism in my foot during the 5-8 minute meditations. And I attribute some of that to my previous experience meditating, which, just hobby stuff, doing 5 to 10 minute breath focus meditation,
Right.
and taking what I learned from that practice, implementing it into this. I was able to focus much deeper on that root of my foot. And it's hard to explain what it feels like when you get into that, I would say, flow state of just focusing on the arch. But I was able to improve that drastically. Today, when we were doing it, I think I only lost focus, a handful of times. And that's how you get better, is refocusing. So